Welcome to Progressive Movement Towards Christ Church, and this is Pastor Keith, and I'm going to be talking today about divorce. Yes, divorce. And again, you can reach us at any podcast venue you listen to, and you can reach us at www.movementtowards.christ.com. That's www.movementtowards.christ.com. And again, the name of our sermon will be Divorce, and we'll be coming out of Matthew 19, and I'll be reading from 1 to 12. That's Matthew 19, 1 through 12. Now, divorce is a major topic and a hard topic to talk about because some religions think that, well, there's no such thing as divorce, and some religions think that if you get divorced, you can no longer be married a second time in their church, such as the Catholics, without approval from the board. And without that, you can't marry in their church. A lot of religions think like that, and it's a hard thing to swallow because a lot of people now marry not for love but for money. If a certain amount of money, if the two have good jobs, very good jobs, then they marry because they think that monetary things are more important than God, more important than love, more important than finding the right person. They think that money is the right thing to go off of a marriage and not the love of the other individual in the marriage. A lot of things happen, and of course, people are widowed and because of death, and then again, shall they be able to remarry? And of course, God believes that when we marry, we are as one, and we're supposed to leave our families behind and become one as a couple. A couple now becomes one, and we're one in itself. Now in divorce, in Matthew 19 and 1, it says, when Jesus had finished saying these things, he left Galilee and went to the region of Judea, to the other side of Jordan, and to reach large crowds followed him, and he healed them there. Now in verse 3 it says, some Pharisees came to him to test him. They asked, is it lawful for a man to divorce his wife for any and every reason? They wanted to test Jesus Christ to see if he had an answer. And of course, Jesus, being very knowledgeable about God and God's word, that he had an answer for them, and they didn't believe he did. But here it is, and in 4 weeks, haven't you read, he replied, that at the beginning the Creator made them male and female? In number 5, and said, for this reason a man will leave his father and mother and be united with his wife, and the two will become one flesh. He's just telling him that now, that when you get married, your husband and wife become one flesh, become the same person, and they're to leave their father and mother. That's why God made male and female, so they can unite in this relationship, in this marriage, to one another. Not man and man, not woman and woman, but man and a woman. And that is highly specific for us to understand that gay marriages aren't that God does not allow these to happen, even though they happen in our system. They do happen, and that's another topic. Now, I don't want to discuss man on man and woman on woman marriage. I just want to just follow with divorce. So in 6 reads, so they are no longer two, but one flesh. Therefore, that what God has joined together, let no one separate. That means no man. No judicial system, no politician, no country shall separate man and woman when they are married and become one flesh. Now, 7 reads, why then, they asked, did Moses command that a man give his wife a certificate of divorce and send her away? Well, they knew this before they asked the first question, and now they're trying to throw a wrench in what Jesus said, because Moses commanded a man to give his wife a certificate of divorce and send her away. So they wanted to know that, see if Jesus knew the answer to their question. Now, in 8 it says, Jesus replied, Moses permitted you to divorce your wives because your hearts were hard, but it was not this way from the beginning. I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife except for sexual immorality and marries another woman commits adultery. So if the male or female in a relationship commits immorality, then he or she can't get married. A man can marry another woman, and a woman can marry another man. Now, if sexual immorality didn't happen, and you divorce someone, and the man marries another woman, a woman marries another man, it is committing adultery, because the bond between a man and a woman is not broken unless sexual immorality is the issue. Now, in 10 reads, the disciples said to him, if this is the situation between a husband and wife, it is better not to marry. Now, God intended us to marry. God intended us to find our better half. God intended us to become one flesh. That's why he created man and woman. He didn't create us not to marry, because he wants us to find love as he loves us. So, to answer that, Jesus answered that in 11. He says, not everyone can accept this word, but only those to whom it has been given. So, Jesus is saying, not everyone can accept this word, but only those to whom it has been given. To whom it has been given. So God controls us. He tells us that we have been given the opportunity to marry, to become one flesh. And that's God's wish. That's what God tells us in our hearts and in our souls. Now, in 12 says, for there are eunuchs who were born that way, and there are eunuchs who have been made eunuchs by others, and there are those who chose to live like eunuchs for the sake of the kingdom of heaven. The one who can accept this should accept it. So if you become a priest and you say, well, I'm not going to have sex, I'm not going to have a relationship, the only relationship I have is God, accepts that he will not marry, will not have a wife, will not have a husband if it is a woman. And they do it because the kingdom of heaven, they glorify God, Son of God, all the time. And through their commitment, they decide not to marry, not to choose marriage, for the sake of the kingdom that they shall go to when they pass, or want to go to when they pass. So that is a right, a choice that you make to leave and not have relationships only with our God. The one who can accept this should accept it. Now, that's what I was saying. If you accept a non-relationship life, like many church people, then that's what it is. Like people say, hey, I'm going to have a relationship when I am married and not before. That is a choice. That is a godly choice you make, we make. That sexual relations does not come to after we are bonded as one flesh. I know a lot of people have had relationships, sexual relations before marriage, but all they have to do is ask God for their forgiveness and be truthful about it, that they were wrong and they did a ungodly thing before marriage. But it happens. It happens all the time. So whatever you do, accept it. Ask God for your forgiveness. Ask God for His strength, His power for you to be faithful to God until you get married. This is Pastor Keith. And I just talked about divorce. And I just want you to know that if you do it the godly way, if it's by adultery, then it is legal with God. If it was for anything else, it's not in God. God does not allow you to get married again if it wasn't because your spouse committed adultery. In that fact, you are considered an adulterer if you marry another woman, or if a woman marries another man. Accept it, because this is your faith. This is your choice. And this is Pastor Keith with Progressive Movement Towards Christ Church. I hope you enjoyed our podcast on divorce. And you can reach us on any podcast venue you listen to, and you can reach us at www.movementtowards.christ.com. That's www.movementtowards.christ.com. And may God bless.